The video games industry is one of the most innovative and fastest growing industries in the world. The men and women of this industry work tirelessly to provide entertainment for the masses, and some of these provide the music that we love, music that we listen to when we're enjoying ourselves playing those video games, music that we love, music that we listen to when we're enjoying ourselves listening to video games. Do we even know who these people are? No. Would video games be the same without them? No.
Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful Sunday morning for me. This is the IGM Sunday NewsCast. I am your host, Average Gamer. With me is my co-host, Squeaky Bee, and a guest host today. If you want to introduce yourself, Parlock.
Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Parlock.
Parlock is from England, and we have him on the show today because last week we had this wonderful kerfluffle, I guess you'd call it, over this game.
I'm gonna pull up the Kickstarter page, and we'll get right into that. Why not, eh? So, if you guys joined us last week, you might remember this Kickstarter page of InSomnia, the dieselpunk RPG that looks a lot like Fallout. Now, who wants to explain the kerfuffle?
Oh, I will explain the initial kerfluffle because
You're gonna have to re-explain that initial kerfuffle, I think. If she's still here.
Probably is.
Yeah, nothing.
my internet keeps dying. I need to adjust my sitting position before I explain this kerfluffle. Because I've got an Ethernet cord and it's ancient, and so it just kind of goes, you know what, not right now. Alright, so basically InSomnia is an RPG game where you're supposed to have options and choices and dialogue and all this really cool stuff. And if you looked down last week on the list of stretch goals, after they hit their $70,000 goal and then they hit their $90,000 goal, like $20,000 more, they would add all of the dialogue options and everything for female playable characters. And before then, it would just be a female skin over a male playable character, which is fine, honestly. I could give zero cares about it, except that they pointed it out and they made it a thing
directly after E3.
Yeah, right after E3. This is when it came out, and so they did all this stuff, and I got really mad, because, as you do. And I posted on their Facebook page, and the way I posted it, I misworded everything, but I got them to respond, and that was the thing. And I'm just gonna post it. Y'all already know my full name. There you go. You can creep on my Facebook page. Everything's private anyway. Mm-hmm. But I got really mad, and they answered me. And then I posted Parlock's video. This is why Parlock is on here. If you look down at the last comment on that whole string, I guess, you will find. Let me get this address. This video. Oh shoot! That is a long link. That is not the link I wanted. Hang on a second, guys. I'm sorry.
The video link.
Well, here,
I got it.
Do you want to link it in Skype, and I can actually play the video?
I got it.
Oh,
it's in the chat.
Okay, yeah, that's 14 minutes.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
That's the video. It's 13 minutes or 14 minutes of Parlock being ridiculously reasonable and just talking, saying every point that I wanted to make in such a better way that I was here. Just watch this. And they responded. I posted it as its own comment on the Facebook as well, and was so seriously, why the hell are you lying in your Kickstarter video? And they got really mad and defensive. And in that defensiveness, they gave us a link of an update that they made on the 11th, which was the day that they, got defensive. It was what was that? Thursday?
Yeah, that would have been Thursday.
Yeah, so they updated everything on Thursday, and it turns out they took away that stretch goal, and they are going to animate all the female characters, NPCs, everything, all the dialogue, everything that has to be made, quote, feminine, is going to be made feminine automatically. They're going to just put it in there. And I'm that's what you guys should have done in the first place. Thank you.
However, this is where I'd like to bring up my point.
Yes.
And for my point, we're going to go directly to their Kickstarter update page to the actual update that we brought up last week. And I want to read...
You want to link it in chat?
Yeah, it's linked...
Chat.
Yeah, the chat is on my laptop, that's all. Hang on. Let me get this over here. Here. And then I'll grab this. And... boom. There. So, this link. You asked, we listened. Female playable character stretch goal deleted. The second thing that they heard about, because they're talking about the things they heard about, the one that we receive a lot of messages from backers and female playable characters, and that this opportunity is really important for them. So we listened to you and we've deleted the stretch goal, and we'll find the money to make sure it's possible to play as a female protagonist on our own. There will be a female playable character, each with their own special perks, dialogue, some different quests, and even different reactions of companions and key NPCs. And then the stretch goal, so instead of using $20,000 to make women a thing in their game, they're going to do professional voiceovers. Which, you know, $20,000 for professional voiceovers is, I get that. I can see how that much would cost that. But it's the way that they state it that still pisses me off. They're not pointing out that they had a problem here. They're pointing out that because other people think it's important, then they are going to personally find a way to fund it themselves to make all these drastic changes that they technically don't even need that much of.
Yeah, they told me on Facebook that they were taking food out of their children's mouths to make this a reality. Like,
wow.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, I'm gonna gloss over that because I do not want to get in an argument with somebody. Like, I don't want to play who's the most miserable.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do this. So I thanked them, and that was it. But if you're going to take on a project this big, like, you have to outline everything beforehand. And if it's going to be that much of a pain in the ass, like, plan for it, you know?
Yeah.
Change your goals. Make it to where it works and to where you don't have to make those kind of sacrifices, because you should come first. Your family should come first. If your game is coming before your family, then you really need to replan. And if you're telling other people that your game is coming before your family, then you've got some other serious issues. But I'm happy they took away the stretch goal. I'm still not supporting it because I can't afford to, but I don't really have a problem with people supporting it now, because no matter how grudgingly or whiningly they're doing it, they're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And I think... Oh, yeah, go ahead, Parlak.
Sorry. They're saying, you know, we're taking food out of our children's mouths and stuff, but problem is, the original campaign, before they changed it, they were making it out to be you could make your own character in this world and it'd be completely dependent on you. If it costs so much to make all these different choices for your character, surely the logical thing to do would be to make the story based on an already predefined character, like they do with Mass Effect, or with there's a game called Demonicon where you play as a specific already written character. Surely if it costs so much to write all of these other options, it would make sense to just focus on one and do them well, as opposed to having to animate and create all of these different things which will literally cause your children to starve. It just seems like poor planning more than anything.
Yeah, it's ridiculously poor planning, and I can't stress enough how annoyed I am by this entire thing. And how annoyed I got to where even that message where they were like, well, we're going to do it. We made changes. We don't understand what your problem is. Like, that was a really that's how irritated
that is
I was
the problem, because they don't understand what the problem is. And Parlak, you brought up an excellent example. Because one of my favorite quotes is a game developer asking, hey, I would love to make a game with a great female protagonist, but how do I make a great female protagonist? And the response was, make a great protagonist and make them female. In Mass Effect, there are choice differences between the male and female for some options. However, the main story and the main protagonist part of that story is gender neutral, because they know how to do it properly. They made a great protagonist and said, do you want to be a guy or a girl? Go ahead.
Yeah, you're not your own character, you're Commander Shepard. So they can write a specific character, so that doesn't have to have as much effort into making them hundreds of different outcomes for each character selection.
Exactly. So I
made a
mean,
point.
I'm.
Sorry.
No, you go, Bonnie.
Well, I was gonna say what I have to say is really quick, but I made a point that there's no way that they had to change the dialogue that much to be female friendly unless every sentence had the word penis in it. Like it can't be female specific or male specific unless it's got, the name of our genitalia in it.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that they need to change that much, and that was insulting as well.
Yeah. And that's.
See, I think.
No.
Sorry, yeah, you go ahead.
I just wanted to comment that is still the problem. Like, I totally appreciate it. I'm glad that as a show we've been able to become part of the solution in showing that, hey, look, we have a little bit of pull, and we recognize that everybody is having these social maturity issues. And look, we helped something change. We are now part of the solution. That's great, but these people didn't and still don't realize that there is a problem here.
It is.
Yeah, they seem to be doing this just because people were threatening to unpledge and did unpledge like I did,
Yeah.
as opposed to doing it out of understanding why people are doing it in the first place.
Did y'all notice that they did lose money?
Yes,
Well, they lost
did.
Yeah,
Pledge.
they lost. They actually lost about $4,000 last week.
Yeah. There you go.
And it was in a couple of
7,000 away
days.
now.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're closer because they made that change, and like,
Yeah.
I think, like, with me, it's good enough. People are tired of arguing. They're just like, fine, it's happening, let's just, fine. I
Yeah.
want to see the game, let's just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have repledged again had they not run out of the $10 tier.
Oh, that was another thing I wanted to point
Oh,
out. So they're
brutal.
saying we'll find the money somewhere. They removed the stretch goal, but they moved it to the donation tiers, or the pledge tiers. By taking away the $10 tier, what they're hedging on is that the same number of people will pledge for the game. And if those people pledge $15 instead of 10, if you get 10 people who were going to pledge anyway, and they have no $10 option, so they pledge $15, those 10 people are giving $5 more automatically. So if the entirety of the people they were hoping would pledge each gives an extra $5, they may make that stretch goal anyway. And I think they're hoping that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe we're just being negative. Either way. I still personally feel there's a problem here. I'm glad that they did as much as they could to change it.
I'm glad they fixed it. That's literally my only, like, whether they understand, that can come later. They're in the middle of making a game. I'm all about, like, education, and you guys know me,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But I also realize that when you're in the middle of a project, it is hard to realign your thinking when you've got one thing in mind. So I'd say better planning next time for them, if there is next time, if they don't, like, quit because of this. And as far as, like, supporting the game, like, I can't afford to do it. I probably honestly wouldn't do it if I had the money, because I'm not a fan of RPGs and things like that. But I'm not going to stop people from supporting it because of the fact that whether they understood it or not, they did make the change.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm satisfied. I'm not happy, but I'm satisfied. And that's kind of my final word on this. I'm satisfied with the solution.
Yeah, I mean, I was, like I said, I was going to repledge again, but A, it's gone up by $5, and I only thought it was a $10 idea in the first place.
Mhm.
And B, between last week's explosion and them fixing it, 3 other Kickstarters that I was interested in all happened. So it's like, these ones are better ideas to me, so sorry, but no. Not after what happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing that still irritates me, because in my video I said that they were lying through a mission by saying in their video, we're going to have all of these body options and gender options, and you can make your own character in any way you like. And then they completely omitted that, you'd have to get to the $90,000 before you can actually do half of that. And I argued in my video that that's lying through a mission. And then when Squeaky put the video on the Facebook, they were saying, well, we weren't lying. And it's like, you were, though. You haven't really dealt with the fact that you lied, but you've still fixed the problem, so it's not as big a deal. But it still sort of rubs me a bit the wrong way that they're saying we didn't lie when they did.
Yeah, that irritated me as well. I just this whole
Yeah.
thing leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a shame because it is a good idea for a game. It is something that I would have been interested in, but
Mhm.
then this.
Too much of a mess.
Yeah.
And like they moved the broom around so that the area we were looking at was clean, but then there's like still dirt everywhere.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly how it feels.
Yep. Yeah, that being said, I mean, they do have a playable demo, and they're over 90% of their goals, so if you guys are interested, we are going to be showing the video again, just because I want to see it in a new light. I want to see if I get a different reaction from the video in a new light. And as well, I mean, they did fix it, so I think they deserve a second look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. Like I said a minute ago, the main thing has been, if they hadn't mentioned it in the first place, it wouldn't have been a problem. They basically took away the mention on their page and apologized for it in a roundabout way. So that's fine. Whatever. If you're happy with it and you see this video and the game looks interesting to you, regardless of whatever drama we're still going on about, if it looks interesting to you, pledge to it. We're not here to tell you what to do with your money. We're not here to tell you what kind of games to play. We're here to show you things that are interesting, talk about stuff as it comes up. If we happen to get offended by something, you don't have to be offended by it. You know, we're just a podcast. We're not like the be-all, end-all of, indie games. So if you watch the video and you're like, you know what, this actually looks really cool, I've got $15 I'd like to throw their way.
Yeah, exactly.
For the love of God, give them your $15. That's your money. It's your choice.
Yeah.
So.
Another thing, you're like, whether or not they apologize in a roundabout way. That must be a pretty round way, because I don't remember seeing an actual apology. I just remember them saying, you guys said you wanted this, so we're going to find a way to do it.
Oh, they did on Facebook, like in a roundabout way. It wasn't an what is the word I'm looking for? They didn't outright say I'm sorry, but the way they were talking was like, dear God, what else can we do, woman? Why are you attacking us? It was that kind of thing.
It does feel like they were more sorry they got caught than sorry for what they did.
They're panicky, more so than like really contrite, if that makes sense. But that's the thing. That's my takeaway. Other people could see it a different way, and that's fine. That's why we're all here. So.
Yeah.
Yay!
I do hope it does get the money, because I do want to play it eventually. But
yeah, it's the thing that kills me is that it's such a great looking game.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, if it looks great, go for it. Everybody in chat, go for it. If not, that's fine. That's your preference. I won't, because it's not my kind of game, and I don't have money. But that's another problem.
Okay, should we kick off some Kickstarter videos then? That we are chatting about it for about 20 minutes, so I think that's
let's
about
go
what
ahead
we want to do.
Let's rewatch the InSomnia video and see, or do you want to talk about other Kickstarters and then come back to it to kind of like let things settle?
No. I think this is fresh in everybody's head, so let's take a look at it, new perspective, because it is a really good looking game and I really like the video.
Imagine wandering through the massive interior of a semi-abandoned space station that's been slowly falling apart, investigating the remains of humanity's last best hope. The atmosphere is chilling, cold, rusty metal, and dim memories of gun battles and blood. Throw in a dose of time travel and you have InSomnia, an apocalyptic nightmare that will haunt your dreams. InSomnia is a tactical, real-time RPG augmented with co-op gameplay and sandbox elements, including randomly generated events and missions and a sophisticated crafting system. InSomnia features atmospheric, modern 3D graphics and visual effects with an isometric perspective reminiscent of old-school RPGs. The game is an RPG built with a cutting-edge co-op component and a number of exciting narrative outcomes arising from a series of difficult choices. Points of no return where fates and lives change forever, memorable, charismatic characters, Atmospheric locations, real-time gameplay, and permanent suffocating suspense are just some of the elements that you can experience in this project. To put it simply, maximum immersion in a tangible world, one that's so real you can touch it. The game takes place in a colossal space station that's been barreling through the universe for more than 400 years, searching for a safe haven, a place where humanity can be rebuilt. Players will face many characters and factions within the station. They'll need to understand the rules of the Ark, why people embarked on such a risky journey, including the time travel missions, and how past mistakes have influenced the present. The fate of the station's inhabitants will be determined by the player's actions, and the outcome of this epic journey will largely depend on player choice. InSomnia is set in a murky, retro-futuristic diesel punk world. Man-made apocalyptic landscapes mixed with a dark ambient soundtrack to put the faint echoes of a post-war civilization on full display. The project was in many ways inspired by documentaries about the Great War and World War II. InSomnia's storytelling focuses on humanity's mistakes, with vague references to current events, historic characters, and existing countries. The highlights for us are the non-linear storytelling and realistic combat system and physics. Players interested in a more tactical approach can do so. Players more into exploration will enjoy hundreds of handcrafted locations with lots of Easter eggs. If you're after epic battles, hardcore quests will require nerves of steel and quick decision-making. InSomnia will allow for a tremendous amount of character customization, skills, perks, and abilities, body shapes, gender, avatar, voice and event. Every bit of equipment will allow for several customization options. InSomnia is an independent project staffed by a team of professional developers from the United States, Malaysia, Russia, Lithuania, and Japan. We're making the game of our dreams, something we can all be proud of. And we're heavily invested in the project. We've learned a lot over the past 2 years. We bootstrapped all the development work for InSomnia. We built a strong team of talented developers, and we've been able to translate our vision into reality. But in order to carry on, we need your help. We really rely on your support. Again, thank you for watching this video. You can find more information about the project below.
Okay, InSomnia.
I'm so sorry for my little editorial comments in chat, but
No, I was giving them to. Yeah, sorry, not sorry. So, it kills me. It's a cool game.
It looks really neat, and all that level of detail, if they literally spent 10 minutes going, okay, well, what would, like, just planning any part of a female character, if they'd spent 10 minutes on that level of detail doing it, then this would not have been a problem.
Yeah.
Like, they spent all that time planning the floor plan and the layout and everything, and it's just like, guys, come on.
And the gameplay looks really cool. I'm gonna play the demo this week. I am gonna, because it's not turn-based, which is really interesting for that style. Like, the go-to is always turn-based with that kind of a game, so I want to see how the gameplay actually translates.
Yeah, it looks a lot like, well, it reminds me a lot of Dawn of War 2. That had the RPG elements, but it was based on the real-time strategy.
Mm-hmm.
This seems to be taking it slightly in the other direction with the real-time strategy, but it's predominantly an RPG, which looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Yannick, this is Parlock.
He's a super duper mega awesome dude who I love.
he's our special guest.
I love me too.
We invited him on because of the InSomnia kerfluffle from last week, because he made a YouTube video on his channel, which is Edge Zombie. Parlock, if you want to...
Yeah, if you want to link it, be my guest.
Well, actually, it won't.
Actually, yeah.
Link.
Bonnie, if you want to relink it.
Everyone link me for me.
Yeah.
And it's just one word, right? Edge Zombie?
Yeah, I posted it in the Skype chat.
Oh, okay. Well, that's his channel. And you can find his video about the InSomnia gender issue thing on there, as well as a bunch of other videos. He used to do LPs, not so much anymore. But his channel's really good, so if y'all want to go check it out, he's smart cook.
Like I said, I'm a huge Parlock fan, so it's nice to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you.
I like having smart friends.
Well, I mean, why did you have me on here? I'm so disappointed.
Son, I am disappointed.
Okay, so I think we should move on to another game, though.
Can I just say one more thing about InSomnia?
Nope.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
I think the only thing, like, excluding InSomnia Gate, the only thing that bothers me is that the game's set on a spaceship, on one spaceship, like 5,000 years in the future. I have a feeling the settings could get very, very monotonous after a while. It's like everything we see in that is just rust and metal, and that, I think after like 12 hours of gameplay that could get really boring.
Yeah.
So I hope they do a bit of variation in the locations.
We were chatting to Bitcore Studios. They made a game called The Sun at Night, where it was predominantly taking place in like an underground bunker. And they said the hardest thing that they had to do with level design was making that interesting, because it takes a lot of work. What do you do?
Yeah.
If your one setting is predominantly like one drab thing with a hard theme of like grayscale walls and shadows. So yeah, it can be really interesting. I mean, if they have a good level designer, or they have a good designer period, they'll know like how to use proper color palettes and that kind of thing to try and break things up and keep the pacing. But yeah, that is one of the main risks I could see, is that the game could get super boring just because of the setting.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool setting, but I don't know if it's a RPG length amount of cool setting.
It reminds me of Dead Space.
Yeah.
The setting reminds me of Dead Space, and so I'm trying to imagine Dead Space as an RPG right now.
Yeah, I get a lot of Metro, Last Light.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, the thing with them is because they're third person or first person, you can have a lot of variation vertically, which can change stuff up a bit. It's like a lot of Dead Space revolves around having a specific space that you move up and down with like lifts or with stairs and stuff, so you'll wrap around it a lot. Whereas with an isometric game, you can't really do that as well, because you're just looking at the floor the entire time.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's like it obviously it reminds me of Fallout the most.
Yeah.
And it's like the vaults in Fallout can be varied. It's like you've got ones with plants in, with radiation in.
But they're all
inhabited.
vaults.
But they're all vaults, but they all feel different, and I think they really should be looking really hard at how Fallout does its vaults, or how Ultima Underworld does its world, and build off of that.
Even how Baldur's Gate did a lot of the dungeons.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second game I want to look at is called Survive the Nights, which is paused. So,
and there's the link in
poof.
chat.
Okay, so we will give it a watch, and then we'll chat.
Survive the Nights is a multiplayer, first-person survival sandbox, where the main focus of the game is a combination of both strategy and teamwork. The game features unique, realistic survival techniques, while remaining true to the promise that it will always be fun to play. Set in a recently post-apocalyptic, island-based world, supplies are ripe for the picking, providing you use skill and strategy to obtain them. Players will need to spend the days scavenging, fortifying, and preparing for the impending darkness of nightfall. Enemies in the game are sensitive to light. You will find them lurking in the shadows of abandoned homes and buildings. Using the daylight wisely is crucial to your survival. During the night, enemies are grouped in masses on a desperate hunt for blood and brains to feed on. As the light falls, the safety of day falls with it. Enemies are now swarming. Only if you've prepared might you survive. Interaction within the world is greatly important in Survive the Nights. Finding a generator and connecting it to an existing building's power supply is just one example of this, which will allow you to use lights, roller shutter doors, or even cook your dinner on the stove. Light a fire for warmth, lock doors to keep enemies out, or use a wheelbarrow to move supplies more efficiently. The possibilities are endless. Every structure within Survive the Nights is enterable and fortifiable, which makes choosing the right place to seek shelter vital. remove planks from fences, or find sheet materials to fortify your structures and vehicles. All vehicles are potentially usable. They won't be hard to find, but you might have a problem getting them running. There is, however, an extensive list of parts for repairs and modifications. Vehicles can also be used as mobile camps, carrying all of your goods in their trunks. On the other hand, leaving your fully stocked car in the wild unlocked would probably be a terrible idea. Removing a part or two should keep it pretty safe. The crafting system is extensive, but it's been designed to be simple enough for even the casual gamer to navigate. You won't ever need to leave the game to learn a new crafting method. Survive the Nights includes full day and night cycles, with randomly generated weather conditions, keeping gameplay unpredictable and exciting. Imagine getting caught in a thunderstorm and having to quickly find shelter to make it through the rapidly approaching night, light a fire to keep your body temperature up, and fortify to keep yourself alive. Incorporated into the game is a comprehensive stats system that will involve daily calorie and fluid intake, mental health stability, as well as an overall health bar, which will determine your total fitness, including stamina and endurance. It's possible to maintain a low-calorie diet to keep hunting time to a minimum, or hunt regularly to keep your fitness at its peak. PvP is part of the game and an important dynamic. However, we plan on tackling kill-on-sight issues with our mental health stat and white flag system, which will allow players to team up, trade, or simply avoid each other. Wrongfully killing too many other players will eventually result in a mental breakdown, hindering your survival skills. We're passionate about community involvement and implementing your ideas. Your pledge will allow us to make Survive the Nights the game we've always wanted to play, and provide the playing experience the genre deserves. Together we can create an epic game. Thank you.
So, Survive the Night.
This is the forest in a convenience store. That's instantly what I thought of. I was like, the view, the rudimentary look of the way that he's holding things, the way things open and close, the way things look, it looks like the forest. Except you are in a convenience store. Like, that's literally what it looks like to me. And I am okay with this genre. Like, obviously I've played it before. But I don't play enough of it to really have more of an opinion than that, except it does seem like the market's getting oversaturated on survival horror, I guess. Is this a horror game? Like, is there any enemy? I missed that.
Yeah, there was the bit where it was the night and the things were running through the gate, so I'm assuming they're enemies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed that. I must have been looking at chat.
I personally thought it was interesting. Like, there are a lot of multiplayer survival sandboxes out now. It's a very popular game, and thank you, DayZ, for making this possible and so popular. But I did like a lot of the features. I like that they're trying to put in so much. I don't like when developers say the possibilities can be endless, because that's not true for any game ever made.
I can't have a paraglider, so shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't notice this was multiplayer. Oh.
Yeah. And they are trying to stymie like kill on sight, like you see in DayZ a lot. However, I feel that the community would find a workaround for that as well.
Of course, we are humans. We always find ways to kill. I mean, come on.
I did like even the small details though. Like he walks into his house, he flicks the light switch, he locks the door, and then like you turn your oven on and cook yourself a meal, kind of thing. I thought that was really interesting, and I would love to see more of that kind of detail in one of these types of games. Because whether or not you like them, I personally have a lot of fun with multiplayer survival sandboxes, especially when I'm playing with my friends.
Yeah, that's the draw for me is multiplayer. Like, if I can't play it with my friends, like if we can't collaborate and help each other out, or if they can't, keep me alive because I suck at these games, then I don't want to really play it. Like, because I am kind of terrible at them. But I do know what to look for, I guess, in terms of like what should and shouldn't be there. And this does look like it has all the elements of what could be a really good survival game. So,
I think one of the interesting things is that they seem to put a lot of focus on that van, and I have no idea whether they drove it in the video. I've forgotten, But it seems like if they had drivable vehicles in this, it would be the first one in this genre to actually have that. So that could be a big thing, but I'm not 100% sure if... Oh, no, yeah, in the video, he is driving around.
Yeah.
So that's the first game in this genre to actually have that, which is interesting.
DayZ did have drivable vehicles. It was just ridiculously hard to get them.
Does the standalone have that?
The standalone does not, but the mod did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Well, the mod did because Arma 3 did.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
not Arma 3,
Exactly.
Arma 2, sorry.
No, yeah. I was like, no, it was Arma 3, but no, I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Derp.
Arma 3,
Oh,
that had a
gotcha,
cool
gotcha.
story. Anyway. So, yeah, that's Survive the Nights. I think it has potential. I think everybody's right. Like, it's another multiplayer sandbox. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't give it a tryout. Because they could have a lot of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
It's
think
like
the
peanut
more of
butter.
this sort of game they make, the more they can, like, as developers, as a collective, the more they can just add to the genre until we start getting good ones,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Who wants to introduce the next game? I don't know if I can pronounce that name.
Epanalepsis.
Epanalepsis. Okay, Epanalepsis, an adventure across 3 characters in 60 years.
Which sounds exactly like the plot of a movie that just came out,
Mm.
Cloud Atlas, a couple of years.
That came out like 2 years ago.
I said that just came out a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and I said the name in the middle because I derped on the name for a second.
It just came out
It's
a couple
cool.
years ago.
It's cool. I'm not that dumb.
So this one's already backed. It's got 27 days left, so it's fresh. And if you guys want it, it's pretty much a pre-order right now. So let's give it a look, and we can chat about it after.
At night, I feel like I can breathe. There's nothing I have to do, no conversations to get trapped in. Nothing to lose, and then look for. All the time in the world to be alone. And then I wake up.
Let me tell you a story. A young man became an old man. He pushed buttons for a living. Sometimes he scribbled on pieces of paper, lit them on fire, washed the ashes down the drain. He walked home over gray streets under artisanal signage. In his free time, he pushed other buttons for fun.
We move our fingers and wait for city blocks to go dark. In the artificial night, huddled up under the smog, we slip through shops and alleyways. We beat our bodies up against the walls of the world, cracking plastic and concrete. We change the shape of things. We crawl under doors and over ceiling tiles. We scuttle underground like roaches. We always get in.
Huh. So that looks like a lighthearted, family fun adventure for the whole group of friends. What do you guys think?
I muted my mic. I actually really, I don't mind. Like, people are making fun of the walking style. Like, yes, that's hilarious. The last guy was trotting. Like, if you looked at his feet, he was doing like the gallop that people do when they're trying to pretend to be a horse on 2 legs.
It's that Super Brothers style, though. It's so popular.
Yeah, I don't mind the animation because, like, the voice acting and storytelling was actually compelling for me. Like, I actually wanted to listen to it. I didn't want to look at chat because I wanted to not distract myself from listening to what they were saying. And that's rare. That doesn't happen much. Like, you heard me say, oh, I guess I missed it because I was looking at chat. Like,
Yeah.
I actually wanted to listen to this one.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they have some narrative muscle here, because even the symbolism in this video, it starts off where she's just walking through like the forest talking about how her life's so cheerful, and even the Kickstarter video follows a rising action climax and then denouement. Like, if they've got the narrative style down in this video, I would love to see what they can do with 3 characters across 60 years.
I wish I could afford to back this because I really want it.
Yeah. Pledge of $4,000. I feel like I need to read about it more, but I'm guessing that they probably have most of the game made, and they're just looking for some extra money to kind of finish her off, because you're not going to make a game on $4,000.
Oh my gosh, they mentioned Cloud Atlas in the freaking description. Where does it come from? Philip K. Dick, Eternal Darkness, Cloud Atlas, Kicking and Screaming, Burning Chrome, and the comics work of Emily Carroll. Wow, they've got a lot of like really good references for this. That's awesome.
I believe I went out on a limb and called it.
Oh, this is the same person who made a game called Catacresis, which I played, and that was really good. Catacresis was awesome. You were this sort of paranormal investigator person, and you had to go into this sort of paranormal emergency and figure out what was going on, and it was really cool. Problem was, I was streaming it. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I fell asleep in the middle.
Oh.
It wasn't the game's fault. It was like for a couple of seconds. I just completely fell asleep, completely zoned out. It's like, oh, now what's happened? I've forgotten everything. But it was really good.
GG, Parlock, GG.
I just finished a pretty long stream, so I will say that I know how you feel, Parlock. I think Savvy called it. Give this one to me now, because they got 27 days. I'm gonna see if I can find some money in that amount of time, because I actually want to back this one.
Yeah, Savvy and I each have our own gimme gifts.
Mm-hmm. I like the Zim. Yeah, I'm a big fan
I have
of
a
Zim.
Mighty Need. That is mine.
Mighty Need.
Like, oh, I want this game so badly. Let me bookmark this page. If I find $10, I'm going to get this game.
I love this show.
Yeah. I love this show. Doesn't Gur say that at one point? It does. Yeah.
That damn monkey!
I think you were bordering on Ralph Wiggum there, Squeaky.
I can only really do Ralph Wiggum, so...
I bent my Wookiee!
I what? Okay.
Bent my Wookiee?
I bent my
Wookiee! Okay. That's the quoting corner portion of the show.
I sleep in a drawer!
Oh, God.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop now, because that could get bad.
So, the next game that you people are gonna buy is called Solarix.
Here's the link.
It's fun.
Yeah, there's a link. Okay, so let's take a look. Oh.
Since my last entry, I've just been doing research in my office. Nothing new. 355 people are dead or otherwise. Maybe they should just burn everything and start over.
Solarix orbital spacecraft.
So, Solarix. As you can see, we made this game. That totally wasn't a IGM banner that I accidentally put on the screen early.
Ha Cough, cough.
Lol.
This is Dead Space.
I think it looks cool though.
It looks really neat. Like Dead Space looked really neat, but
I've got a little bit of
Dead
Deus
Space.
Ex in there with all the hacking that he was doing too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And also, I wanted to show this one off because we always talk. Look, another one of my themes that I'm coming back to. What a surprise! But now that engines like the Unreal Engine and the CryEngine are becoming cheaper and more readily available, we're starting to see indie games that don't look like retro games.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can make the choice. If you want to make a good-looking FPS shooter, boom.
Yeah, while I was watching the video, I was really struck by that. By how good it looked. Like, that's not an insult saying it looks like Dead Space, you know?
Yeah.
I really like... I don't know, like if you scroll down a little bit underneath the title thing that says open-ended gameplay, that picture of that zombie with its head kind of tilted, like that's creepy as hell. And that's awesome, and that's something that you can achieve with all the tools that are available now. And it's great. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like the look of this. I mean, I'm a big stealth game fan in general, so it's like it is Dead Space, but Dead Space is a shooter first and foremost, whereas this seems a bit more Outlasty, Deus Ex-y in a Dead Space world, which I'm well up for. That looks really cool.
When he went to the locker and he opened the locker, my mind went right to Outlast when I was like, wait, how do you actually fit in the locker in Outlast? Because all lockers have that little shelf.
Well, the ones in Outlast don't.
No, they don't.
There's just one patient who obsessively collects them.
Yeah.
Actually, I could see that in Outlast.
Chris Walker likes to do a bit of DIY.
So these guys need £10,000. They have 26 days to go. So it's a little too early to see. Like their first couple days wasn't a huge push, but I could still see this one because 10,000 is not that much to make a game.
Have you seen who the project's by though?
Kiss Limited.
Yeah. Kiss Limited are kind of notorious for releasing mass amounts of shovelware on Steam in blocks.
Ooh.
Is like they buy up old defunct developers and like abandoned games and stuff, and they will just release them en masse on Steam. So
interesting.
It looks cool, but I personally don't want to support them because they're not a very trustworthy or good company. Really, they're not indie.
So they don't do most of their own work, is what you're saying. They'll take other people's ideas and then just finish them and then claim them.
No, they're a middleman. They'll buy up old games. I'll have a look for it, but
yeah,
they release a lot of really older games, and because of the way Steam works now, where it used to show you new releases, they were just completely filling up the Steam new releases list with their games, which meant that actually new games that were coming out were just getting pushed down straight away, which
that's
annoyed a lot of people off.
Nice.
Yeah, that's Kiss and another company I can't remember. They're the reason why Steam now shows the top sellers list over the new releases. Yeah, they released a game called Little Devil, and it says it was released 19th of March 2014. It was actually released in 1993, but because Steam doesn't show the original release date, just when it came onto Steam, people were thinking this was a new game when it wasn't, and it was published by Kiss.
Huh. And here's all the games they've been quote-unquote releasing. I wish we had a webcam up so you can see the quotations.
Well, yeah, it's... I was so sold on Solarix until I noticed it was Kiss, and now I'm just... No.
We need to have you in the show more often, Parlock. You're like our check and balance here.
Yeah, Parlock like tempers the excitement with like reality.
Oh wait,
Solarix is on Steam. It has a pre-order page thing.
Yeah, I saw that underneath it. It said Solarix is already, is Steam approved. I saw that link, so
yeah,
they're already on there.
Yeah, because if you've already got a publisher, you don't need to go through Greenlight, which is the whole problem that happened with Paranormal Activity, where they got picked up by Adult Swim, but because they were already on Greenlight, they couldn't get through. So what KISS do, they will say, hey, we'll take a cut of your money, and I think there's accusations that they don't pay, or they don't pay for a very long time. I'm not 100% sure on that. They'll take these smaller developers and they'll say, we'll get you on Steam, and they don't really do a lot of quality control. So, that ruins the deal for me, personally.
Well.
Well said.
It looks like a cool game, and I hope... Was it Pulse Tense? Yeah, Pulse Tense. I hope they do get funded, but they kind of need to get away from KISS as fast as they possibly can. Because this would get kickstarted straight away without KISS. So I don't know why they're doing that.
Good question.
Lack of confidence and lack of experience can screw up a lot of, really great people.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of their potential.
Okay, let's talk about Subject 13 next.
Links in chat.
Links in chat. We're going to watch a video. Whoop-woof.
Hello everyone, my name is Paul Cuisset, creator of Flashback, Motor Racer, and Darkstone. Today I'm here to talk to you about a project that means a lot to me, a new adventure game called Subject 13. I have been wanting to create a brand new adventure game for a while now. A few months ago, I started researching and working with the Unity engine to lay the foundations of the gameplay and the plot for Subject 13. When I start working on a new game design, I must admit, I sometimes get completely obsessed with the project. My wife doesn't like it when I get started, because, well, I come to bed very late every night. After several months of hard work, my project is starting to take shape and to look like something I like. While we still need to put the finishing touches on the graphics and some gameplay details, the result is entirely playable today. A few people have started to play and give their brains a workout with Subject 13. To my great satisfaction, I think they are enjoying it. With Microids supporting me in this project, we hope to give Subject 13 the opportunity to reach the highest levels of gameplay, graphics, and sound quality. We also wish to offer a more complete and interactive experience thanks to immersive devices, such as the Oculus Rift. Right now, we plan to make the game for PC, Mac, and mobile. We would also like to adapt the game to other platforms. This is where you come into play. Throughout the Kickstarter campaign, by supporting the project, or even just spreading the word to other players. Thanks for your passion for video games, and for your support.
Subject 13. I like it. I think we're looking neat.
Well, it's the guy who did
I really
Flashback.
like it.
So that's a big thing. It's the guy who did Flashback, which is a big thing, because that was fairly popular.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They did a remake of that recently, didn't they? Yeah, I think they did.
I'm just looking at it like, I guess I don't really know the point. Like, he was talking more about, the type of game it was and things like that, but it really does look neat. Like, I would like to try it.
Yeah. Like that. It looks like the sort of adventure game that isn't just spend 5 hours hunting for 1 pixel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Myst either.
I played that game for hours and hours and hours when I was like 11. Like, that was, no lie, that was my favorite game when I was 11. And I played it for hours.
I used to have a Myst clone, which was Wizard of Oz, but it was with Myst gameplay.
Oh
and that
my
was
God.
the coolest game ever when I was like 10, 11. And then I started playing, like, not bought in a packet of cereal games.
One of my...
Well, that's what changed.
One of my absolute first games that I got for a PC, when I got a PC that could play games, which was an amazing time for me in my youth, was King's Quest style, like point-and-click adventure, but it was in Discworld, and it was amazing.
Oh my god!
Have you played it? You played that one?
Yes, I used to have that on the Sega Saturn.
It was so good!
Yeah, it had the fly at the start that woke
yes!
you up. Yes!
Yeah!
I love that.
I've never read Discworld, and I've never heard of that game, so
you
odd
should.
man out here.
Everybody should read Discworld. Everyone. And Good Omens, which he wrote with Neil Gaiman.
Dragon.
Subject 13, though, they need 40 grand. They're already at 11 grand 25 days ago.
I think fine.
Yeah, I think they're going to be just fine. I think they've got a good game, and they already have a good push for their first couple of days.
And they've got a name attached. They've got him attached. I can't pronounce his last name. They got Paul attached to it, which is a big... Microids published Siberia, I think. So they've got experience with adventure games. So I think that's a good partnership there, unlike Kiss.
So the next one that I want to talk about is kind of interesting. We're not talking about a game Kickstarter, which we are a newscast. We are not an indie game Kickstarter cast. So I want to talk about this one because I think you guys will find it interesting. But I'm not going to say anything about it. I will let it speak for itself.
Hi, I'm Ben.
I'm Bruce.
And we're going to be creating the ultimate Unity 3D development course. Whether you are just an avid gamer with no coding experience, perhaps you're an artist who wants to bring their assets alive in a gaming environment, or maybe you're an experienced coder who wants to transfer some of your skills into the game environment, this is all about creating games using Unity 3D. We are very excited. Unity is the most wonderful platform. It lets you create games for all sorts of different things like iOS and Android and...
you can do the web with the Unity web plugin. You can do all the major platforms, so Mac, Windows, Linux, all the phone, Windows Phone, Android, iOS, as well as all the console, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, all of that.
Crazy, hey? And you can do a load of that for free. Some of it you would have to get into professional licenses and things, but you'll be amazed what we're going to be able to show you how to do. Completely for free. All you're going to need is a Mac or a PC, and you're going to be able to have your games live and shared with your friend literally in a matter of hours. And talking about having your games live, this is a project-based course. We're very different to other Unity courses for two strong reasons. Number one, we're teaching this through the example of JavaScript, and most other people are using the horrible C++. JavaScript's easier, and also it's very transferable. It's going to be a really useful skill for web programming and for life. So we're going to be using JavaScript, but using any of the other languages is easy once you've learned how to do it. And secondly, it's project-based. The first thing we're going to do is dive in and create Pong 3D Tron style. You know, the Pong, the oldest computer game, we thought that'd be a fun place to start, right?
Yeah.
So we've done that. We've done it in 3D, which is unique. It's green and Tron style, and it's going to be super fun. You'll have that up and running, your own version. You'll be writing the code. You'll be working the problems out, and you'll be sharing that with your friends in just a few hours. Going on from there, we've got all sorts of ambitions about creating a tank game, ultimately, and the steps along the way, we may be going through Tetris and Bamboozle and a whole bunch of other games. And actually, half the point of this Kickstarter is getting feedback from you guys. We really want to know what you want in the course and what retro games you want us to recreate as part of the course. So back us early, get involved early, give us your feedback, and we'll see you on the other side.
Cheers.
Huh.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah, that's kind of neat. Like, I'm watching this and I'm going, well, let's get ready for an influx of, remakes.
I was watching this going, you know what? I wouldn't mind learning Unity.
I don't have time for that, but actually, no, I just don't have the attention span. But
yeah, I think it's both for all of us.
Yeah. But yeah, that seems like it's relevant, and I think that would be a really neat thing, honestly, because a lot of people want to do this sort of thing and they may not know how or where to start. So
And I think it's important that we showed off just being the indie game magazine, because this is how indie games get made. Is a lot of guys that we talked to were like, you know what, one day I was playing a game and thought, I could do this. So I started learning how. And a lot of the questions that we get from people that want to become developers is, where do you learn? How do you learn? How do you get a background in this? How do you get a background in this? And this is having a course like this, I think they'll be pretty successful.
I think the problem is other places are already offering this for free, and they're not just remaking retro games, they're teaching the idea behind it. And it's like at the very bottom of their Kickstarter page they say, why will it be better than existing courses? We're professional teachers and developers. I could link you right now to one that is done by someone who works with Unity.
Please do.
Like straight away.
Please
he
do.
He teaches you how to make an infinite runner in an hour. It'll be project and challenge based. That is also what this guy does. We're testing on beginners throughout. That's what this guy does. It's like they're not offering anything which I can't get for free online, and I don't think I could particularly sink that sort of money into something I don't know and have never seen how he teaches. So I think it's a cool idea, but I think Kickstarter may not really be the best place for it because of this. I can get it for free online, so why would I bother factor?
I'm more excited to see that this is it's becoming such a popular thing. I like the fact that making games is becoming that much more accessible.
Yeah, I think it is a good thing that they're trying to teach people how to make games. And it's like I've tried to make games in Unity before. I've tried to make games in everything, but none of them have really worked because the learning tools, while there, aren't particularly great. And I'm not sure how another set of pre-recorded tutorials like this would benefit me in that way. But I suppose it's good if you're already sort of aware of Unity and you can understand like the logic behind coding, because coding's got a very solid logic base. Once you understand how something works, you can generally apply it to other stuff. It's like that's where they teach you to do, is it Ruby, I think, is one of the ones that they suggest that you learn first, because that teaches you a lot of the logic to help you learn other coding languages. I think if you've got that understanding, this would be good. But I think if you're a complete beginner, I don't know if video tutorials like this are the best idea, and they're aiming this at beginners. So I don't really know what I think of it.
No, interesting point for sure.
Yeah, I learned by doing, and if somebody just tells me, like, you know, to do a thing like write this code and this will happen, it's like, no, I need to see it happen, I need to make it happen, or I'm not going to remember this and it's not going to mean anything to me. So I stay away from video tutorials. I prefer to be taught in person, but I know some people that it works just fine for, which is why I don't really comment on things like this. Like, I'm a tutor, like I'm actually a teacher, you know, and I have students who run the gamut between, you know, leave me alone while I work out these problems, and can you walk me through this step by step? So
a lot of different people have a lot of different learning styles, and I would say my learning style is YouTube. If I ever want to figure out how to do something, like fix the sink, how to use this program, whatever else to do, my first place that I usually go to is YouTube, because watching somebody do it in a video is usually how I learn.
Yeah, and having that visual confirmation that what you're doing matches up with what somebody else has done and it was successful, like, also gives you that, like, sense of accomplishment. Like, you get that feedback almost instantly. So that's good. I don't know, just for tasks like that, for, you know, one-offs, like, oh gosh, I put rice in the garbage disposal, which, by the way, you should never do. I need to take my sink apart and, you know, and fix it. A one-off like that, yeah, give me YouTube, you know, show me exactly what to do, or just give me pictures of what to do and I can do the one-offs. If I want to learn a skill, you know, like math or coding or doing something like that, I have to have somebody with me to walk me through it and guide me through it, because that's just my learning style. But That's what I mean. Like, I learn differently depending on the situation, so I can't really comment too much on whether this would be effective or how good it is or whatever, because I know that there are so many differences. But I like this idea.
Mhm.
But if, like Parlock said, there's something out there for free, then, well,
Yeah.
you know.
I think where we all stand on this is that it's good that indie gaming is becoming more accessible, and if you want to check something out like that, go to the link that Parlock showed us, because that sounds like a great first place to go.
Yep.
Moving on, we're going to talk about Algo-Bot. Well, we're going to watch the video first, but then we're going to talk about it.
Hey! In this game, you play a little robot dude working in a power plant. Your job is to carry around big boxes of nasty stuff to get rid of the nuclear waste of the power plant. Find the shortest path to the exit using the optimal line of command. The shorter it will be, the higher score you'll have. Solve problems and collaborate with smaller robots to succeed in your mission and complete your awesome skin collection. Create your own levels, challenge your friends, and get your name up there in the leaderboards.
That's such a short video.
Short and sweet, I guess.
That was adorable.
That was. They had such a... That was surprising. They had a lot of production value for that intro, and they made a good 30-second video, but I would have loved to have seen a little bit more. The game looks great.
It's a little puzzle game, and I love puzzle games. Shortest path, like, I don't know, I love trying to find, you know, solutions like that. I'm one of those kids who used to have those puzzle books in the room. That's why I liked Myst so much, by the way, is because I loved, you know, games where you have to, like, put things together. I don't play those so much anymore, but yeah, this looks really neat.
Oh, there was... I can't for the life of me remember what it was called, but there was a game that we used to have on the computers at school, like 10, 12 years ago, where it was very similar to this, but it was like you were controlling a frog and you had to program which ways it would move to get to like a crystal or something, and it was very, very similar to this. So I like this straight away purely because it's nostalgic.
Yeah. No game logic for the win.
They have, for every new pledge, they'll donate a license to a student. So they're actually giving this game away as well as, you know, selling
that
it.
is so cool.
Yeah, so I guess, like, you know, Parlock, this might be the new game in the schools, you know, on the school computers.
Yeah, there you go.
That is... It's like we played that game to learn about flowcharts and stuff.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this looks like to me, is an educational puzzle game.
Yeah.
But it's an engaging educational puzzle game. Which, I mean, if you guys remember a lot of the games from way back when, you probably wouldn't play them now. But this one looks like a game for a lot of different demographics. Like, I'd play this, and I could also see people playing it in schools.
Mm-hmm.
Did they mention anything about a level editor? Anyway, because this seems like the sort of thing that would be ideal if you could create your own levels to share them.
They have a pledge. They've got a pledge pack at $75. It's the level editor pack. You basically have reader access to project management, and you can submit levels for the final version of the game. But I don't think they have a level editor.
No, it doesn't look like
inherent in the game.
Oh, that seems like such a wasted opportunity.
So
yeah,
Bonnie,
that would be really cool.
If you could just go ahead and put it on their Facebook page that they need a level editor.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and bitch them out and make them do it. Why did you lie on your Kickstarter? I thought I could edit level.
Damn it.
Parlock needs to make a video so that I can post it. Yeah.
Oh, they do have different... Oh, I see. A $250 pledge, you can create your own skin.
Yeah, and they have at you can actually make your doppelganger in game at $2,000. But yeah.
And all their stretch goals are for actual backers, which is always kind of interesting. Oh, and shares. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that one, they're looking for 40 grand, which is pretty much on par for indie games I find these days. They've already gone a week, and they're only sitting at 5 grand, though, which is going to mean they're going to be in for a bit of a rough marathon, I think.
Yeah, I hope that I really, really hope they do succeed with this one, because especially if they're giving copies to schools, that is so cool.
Totally.
Did they say they've already been greenlit?
Yes.
Yeah, they've already been greenlit, so I would say that that's guaranteed to mean the game is going to be there, but the game will eventually show up on Steam.
Yeah.
It may take them a little longer to make it if they don't get funding, but they've been greenlit. Steam is going to work with them. They want this game to be made, or else they wouldn't have submitted it to Steam Greenlight. So they'll do it one way or another.
Yay!
So yeah, that's one of the reasons I kind of like Steam Greenlight, is because once you get it in the Greenlight and people vote for it, you know people want it, and it's kind of like an extra push, to get it done.
Yeah.
And if you never get it done, well, you see who you're disappointing. And I know that sounds like really like, Jewish grandmother, like, kind of thing, like the guilt trip, but it works,
Wow.
so I think that's really cool. I like Greenlight for that. So we will see this game.
Okay, guys, that's going to bring us to our final video for this week. Let's see what it is.
Nick just likes it because it has the word rebooted in the title.
Didn't you know that Reboot is being rebooted? Like, my life is complete.
Exactly. See,
nobody knows what Reboot is, but that's cool. Okay, but this one is called After Reset RPG. So let's take a look at it, then we'll chat about it.
It was a golden age for all humanity. The creation of the United Governments was the pinnacle of globalization. Unbelievable breakthroughs in science, medicine, and technology. A sharp rise in lifespan for those who could afford it. Bloody wars over resources were supplanted by corporate offices and governmental organizations. The evaporation of geopolitical borders between people. For the first time in its history, all human civilization functioned as a unified, living organism. Finally, we were ready to reach the stars. But the stars reached us first. One day, they appeared. A silent and unassailable network of enormous extraterrestrial artifacts enveloped the Earth. No one knows where they came from, how they had gotten there unnoticed, and what they were there to do. The artifacts, surrounded by a protective energetic field, gave no sign of life for years and blocked all attempts to study them. Everything changed on the 12th of May. No one knows for sure what happened. Did the aliens strike first? Was it a terrorist attack, or just a mistake? Why did even deactivated rockets detonate? But in a flash, that all became unimportant. A nuclear chain reaction in the atmosphere, spreading in a chain through the whole artifact network, set practically the whole surface of the Earth on fire. The Earth was nearly wiped clean of life. Continents were swallowed in flames and fell beneath the boiling oceans. Human civilization was almost extinguished. Their history becoming a part of the background radiation that blanketed the Earth. The war was over before it began. a few chosen and binged by chance had luck to find the relative safety of the large underground cities. Your family was part of that group that entered such a vault. Generations have lived this way, imprisoned safely in a crust of the earth, keeping alive the fading flame of human civilization in the hope that one day humanity would once again be able to come out onto the surface and rise like a phoenix from the radioactive ash. For you, this day has come.
Okay, so is the game going to start now? Because we just watched the intro to the game. That's not a Kickstarter video.
This game looks awesome!
It does, but I'm surprised it is doing as well it is, because there's no... We can't see what kind of game it is. I mean, they talk about it. They obviously talk about it. It's going to be a Fallout-style RPG, and they do have a pre-alpha build, but they're not showing us anything in the video, except for the story.
There's screenshots below.
Mm-hmm.
I backed this days ago.
Yeah, and beautiful.
This was the one I was. This is the one I was
design.
talking about when I was saying, you know, insanity. But then these other cool games popped up. This is the one I was talking about.
This is the game.
This is my baby.
I wish they did more in the Kickstarter video, because I appreciate the intro to the game, but tell us why you're on Kickstarter. Show us what you plan to do with your game, and show us why we should back you. Don't just show us the intro and the storyline of the game.
The second screenshot down looks like Walter White sitting on a throne. It's like, that's like such a Heisenberg shot.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, it does.
Breaking Bad, the rewrite.
That's exactly, it's post-apocalyptic Breaking Bad. Like, what happened to Walter White? This.
It is nice to see Richard Nixon bounce back after Watergate.
I know.
To write this. I mean, I didn't expect him to write post-apocalyptic fiction, but I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's doing well.
We are all going to hell. Okay. Okay, like, real talk, this looks cool. Like, the intro video, I just wanted to make fun of it more than anything else, because I think it was, like, taking itself too seriously.
Oh, yeah. They needed a little Mel Brooks in there.
Yeah.
I think you made the right call. Little Mel Brooks would have made everybody happy.
Like, freaking Dr. Strangelove, like, it wasn't that the point? Like, they set off one bomb and then the entire atmosphere explodes because of all the other bombs setting off? Like, seriously, guys, come on. Like, watch a movie once in a while and then, like, tweak your story, because literally everybody's just going to be thinking of Peter Sellers writing an atomic bomb and swinging his hat around. Like, that's what I thought of.
I was going to say, well, I don't know if everybody's going to think of that, because how many people in stream have seen Doctor Strangelove?
Awesome. It's awesome. If you haven't seen it, you should see it.
It is. It's an amazing movie, but
like, my dad made me watch that movie when I was like 7. Like,
that explains so much.
This is why I'm weird. Because my dad, like, I watched movies like Duel, which nobody's ever heard of. It's about like this demonic truck driver. Like, seriously, when I was like 7 and 8 years old.
Because that's an awesome movie. I love Duets.
Yeah.
I'll say
Duel. Yep.
Oh, should we get a little original
right
soundtrack?
Now.
Let's get a little original soundtrack going, so we can talk more seriously about.
Let's be serious.
What I am really, really glad about, it's like, yeah, there's these alien things which kind of cause the apocalypse. None of the screenshots and none of the art actually shows any aliens, which I'm really, really glad about.
Setting up for a big reveal, I bet.
I'll be so annoyed if they do that. If they say, "Oh, here's the aliens," guys, I just want cool. It's like they say Firefly, and it's like, yes, Fallout Van Buren. Yes, that was the original Fallout 3. That was by Black Isle before they had to cancel it because Bethesda wants to make Fallout 3.
Harlock, I am such a huge fan of yours. I don't know if I've said that, but you just proved it.
Well,
like,
never mind.
All of these words. I like all of these words that are being said, but I don't know anything about the game.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't download the pre-alpha build, they're selling an idea, And that's kind of my problem with their Kickstarter. And I think they would be already filling out their stretch goals if they had showed more of the game.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it was enough to make me
Promo
back.
art.
Yeah.
Huh?
I was saying it was enough to make me back it, just because I like the backstory for it.
Yeah.
That seems
totally.
like a world I want to explore, so...
Well, I mean, you know, I've got a great backstory over the past few years, but I'm sitting in my living room in my pajamas, like, you know, on a laptop. That doesn't mean the current situation is going to be great. Like, that's what I mean. Like, this game, like, they're telling you the backstory, they're telling you how it came about, and they're showing you pictures, you know, but without actually seeing the build, like Nick said, you know, I don't know what the current situation is, and it could be, you know, somebody sitting in their living room in their pajamas. Like, it's just, it could sound great on paper, but when you see the reality, it's like, well, okay, this had so much potential.
Yeah, I do understand that. What have they ever actually made anything else? They've got an IndieDB page.
So
after reset's the first thing they've done.
After, I thought you said hard reset. I was like,
no, that
was. So what I'm going to do this week, we have 2 games to download. I'll download InSomnia's demo, and I'll download this pre-alpha build. And whichever one is better, I will try and get them on Average Giants. How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. I would love to get InSomnia on Average Giants, and then I'll be like, yeah, this isn't actually Average Giants, but I'd like you to meet my wife and let her bitch at you for an hour.
You have to like invite me to be on there too, so that I can, like, and by the way, bitches, I wrote on your Facebook page. How's it going?
If you'd like to just stand on this pyre, these lovely ladies have some torches they'd like to throw at you.
We're here.
The music is so good for that.
Bless their hearts, like Southern, bless their hearts.
Yeah. But this one looks really cool. That's what I'm going to do. For my little part of it, I'm going to download the pre-alpha build, and if I think it's worthy of trying to get them on Average Giants, if it's going to last an hour, then we'll see if we can get them. And then we can show off more of the game and see why Parlock wants to play it so bad.
I just want Fallout. I just want more Fallout in my life.
Oh, I know.
That's all you've been playing for the past, like, couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I've finally finished Fallout 3. I've hit the level cap. I'm done with Fallout 3.
Did you get the old pack that they released on Steam again? With 1 and 2 and Brotherhood?
The only one I don't have is Brotherhood of Steel. I've got 1 and 2 on GOG.
I actually have, I still have my box for Brotherhood of Steel. I also have my box for Fallout 1 and 2.
Nick is a collector, like...
Yeah.
He'll just throw into casual conversation all the things that he's got original boxes for and that he's, you know, hasn't even opened, and it's just like, dude.
Like my Alien vs. Predator for the Panasonic 3DO. Or no, that's my Atari Jaguar. That's for my Jaguar.
I've got a Sinclair ZX Spectrum. If that helps.
Sick. That's one of the ones I don't have. That is one of the few. One of the few.
Dethroned.
See, and I'm just like a magpie. Like, I just collect random crap. None of the things I collect has any value, except like maybe 2 comic books I got just because of the covers.
Oh yeah.
Like, that was it.
Wife is the comic book collector here.
I didn't even collect them to read them. I collected them because they were a limited release of a certain artist doing concept art for The Last Unicorn, which was one of my favorite books.
Yep, that's so EverQuest Next, the EverQuest landmark. My wife is in it, and she's building the castle from The Last Unicorn in that game.
Right.
Which is it's been a crazy big project, but yeah, I'd love to show it off when she gets it done.
Hey! I'm trying not to squeak because I'll hurt your ears. That's awesome.
That's it for this week, though, guys. That leads us off exactly on 90 minutes. Look at that.
Woohoo!
Great.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming out and listening to us bitch and moan and whine and get excited and then
this was an opinionated week. That is for damn sure.
And thank you, Parlock, for joining us on the show this week.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
Parlock.
you so much for having me. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you, Hitbox, for giving us such a lovely review and shout out in the news vid this week. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. So much hitbox. Thanks, Oxy.
Love you, Hitbox.
All right, guys. Until next week, from everybody here at IGM, thank you so much for joining us. Much love, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.